If you not say you be proud of your beginning, make it the shine light. Just follow me, oh, follow me, oh, follow me, shine light. Le bango le wa, we will know then you dance to ya, we will know then you dance to ya. Come in upon this one again, I be proud of me licky girl, yeah, I'm proud of who I am, yeah, step up one, two, oh, yeah.
Okay, thank you all very much. Those of you joining this live stream at this time, we have 6 minutes after 12 p.m. in Washington, D.C. We're sure it's 6 minutes after 6 p.m. in Cameroon and other parts of Africa. Of course, one uses this opportunity to tell you you're very welcome to this special broadcast on National Telegraph. My name is Eric Tato. I'm your host. You see, basically, I'm not going to beat around the bush, because on shows like this, we come down with pure analysis and try to everybody who is watching is consistent with the facts. If you may excuse me to start this whole discussion in a bit. Let me say this very clearly, and you know, for all of you who are you know, aware and you're consistent with the facts, you all know that a lot is already going on, and today I will focus, like in our other shows, on Cameroon, where there's an armed conflict. I think that right now in Africa we have a lot of things going on, from the Democratic Republic of Congo to the Central African Republic, and now to Uganda, where you have tension coming from the elections between incumbent Museveni and of course Bobby Wine, who is of the opposition party. But then in Cameroon is so crucial because, you know, this has been going on for 4 years, and so we think that this media organ will continuously highlight it. And while we highlight the situation in Cameroon, we would also be using this platform to hold some of the actors involved accountable. And I want to be very clear that we will not continuously try to lecture people on the tenets of journalism. This, of course, This is a news and a media outfit, a news platform. It is not a journalism school. To be honest, like I've said in the other shows, but sometimes you are baffled by the fact that people who have zero savvy on journalism try to give you lectures on social media through their comments, and they try to categorize you based on the fact that it's a news item that they don't like. That alone already disqualifies any premise of an argument with them, because anybody who says that you are not a journalist because you publish some information that they don't like, they don't know what they are saying, because news is news. And whether you want to talk about an ant or this remote controller that I'm holding in my hand, you can talk about anything. Depends on your perspective as a journalist. You know, people don't talk about deaths of COVID from COVID in other countries. People do in some countries, and it always would happen like that. Now, let us stay on the crux of the matter. As you are all aware, today is Friday, January 15th, 2020, and you're welcome to this show. The president of the World Football Governing Body is present in Cameroon, and he has been received by Cameroon's president, Paul Biya. Some of you have seen those pictures. You've seen us carry that news on our platform. This, of course, as you are all aware, it is ahead of the crucial 2021 African Nations Championship. On one of our shows, I took the time to differentiate between the African Nations Championship and the African Cup of Nations, that is the CHAN and the AFCON. Today, I want to re-emphasize, I want to reiterate on that point. Meanwhile, once you join us, you hashtag where you're watching from. Let's talk with you. Let's look where you're watching from. Let's discuss on a couple of issues. So once you join us, hashtag, let's see where you're watching from, and then we'll now recalibrate this show in 30 seconds. So if you join us, please make sure you share extensively as well, and get everybody on the platform. It's actually very important, and we're grateful that all of you are following. And we remain very, very grateful and optimistic that we are definitely going to have just a whole lot to talk about. So once you join, you share. We have more than 250,000 people watching unannounced. That is quite a great progress. So if you join, please make sure you share, and let us know where you're watching from, right? So once we recalibrate this, we're going to just go ahead and thank you. Those of you watching from Finland, UAE, from Yaoundé, Cameroon, that's great. UAE, great, perfect. All right, so let's all of you just hashtag where you're watching from before we would we'll pull on this. All right, so I was talking about the differences, or the difference between the CHAN and the AFCON. That one is called the African Nations Championship, which is abbreviated as CHAN, and the other is called the African Cup of Nations, which is called the AFCON. Okay, now let us get this very clearly. All right, so I will bring you into perspective, because a lot of people get confused, and let me just give you a little example to be able to clarify you with this. The African Nations Championship, because especially those of you of the English speaking regions, aka Ambazonians, who are claiming, those of you who want to claim like you want to stop the African Nations Championship, you don't even know the name of the tournament. As a matter of fact, I listened to one of the leaders. He said the Nations Cup cannot play in Ambazonia, like they say, but it's not the Nations Cup, because it's so important for you to know what product you want to face before you'll be able to face it effectively. Because I wonder if you don't know that Cameroon is going to be hosting the African Nations Cup, the AFCON, that is coming up in 2020. It was postponed first because of insecurity, where they stripped Cameroon off the hosting right, and then now it's been postponed because of COVID. So those two postponements, or one was a postponement, one was a sanction because of insecurity. Now, the African Nations Championship, which is like they call it, some people say it's intermediary lions, like, or the intermediary team. No, it is not. It is actually another category of football in Africa. So it is it's a continental jamboree, but it's specifically for let me say the eligibility condition is being an African and playing in Africa. You have to play soccer in Africa. What does this mean? It means that if you are a Ugandan, if you say you're a player from Uganda, you must be a Ugandan by birth, African by birth or naturalization, and you must be playing football in Africa, not necessarily in Uganda. For example, a Ugandan player, a Ugandan-born player who is playing in Yaoundé in a club like Coton Sport of Garri or PW Bamenda is from Uganda, but is playing his own professional football still within the continent and in Bamenda. So that player qualifies to play in the Ugandan Chan team. Put it that way. That's simply put. Those who are actually playing abroad. So if you are a Ugandan and you play in Paris Saint-Germain in France, for example, you are not qualified, you are not eligible to play this tournament. So it is this particular tournament is a tournament for African players playing in Africa. That's the simplest definition I can give you. So if you are playing abroad but you are African, you are not qualified. So that is exactly the first thing, because I see a lot of people get confused with this CHAN stuff, and some people think that is the African Nations Cup, the AFCON. No, a lot of people write that. So you can hashtag or you can just put CHAN versus AFCON. That way it makes it very easy. So AFCON now is the global stuff, it's the total of domestic players, African-based players, and African players playing professional football abroad. So if you are playing football in Europe and you are African, you are qualified. So during this tournament, the AFCON that is going to be coming up, Cameroon can bring players who play in Paris Saint-Germain. They can decide to take players from Coton Sport. So some of the players who are playing on this African Nations Championship might, hit the spotlight and will be selected to play in their national team when the time comes. So that's very important. All right, so I thought that I should make this very clear distinction so that people can continuously understand that this is the role of a media organ. And it is a shame that some people who call themselves leaders and they say they are fighting for the independence of Southern Cameroon, the two English-speaking regions of Cameroon, and they are passing orders. They don't even know what they are passing orders for. It's so disturbing and it's alarming. It's important to bring it to the limelight. Now, let me say this and let us be categorical, it is very important. Cameroon, to me, I think Cameroon is a disgrace. It's very important. And the world should be watching. We think that the president of FIFA, president in Cameroon, should be taking stock. We've all seen exactly the situation in the southwest, particularly where Group D matches will be played. Group D matches will be played in Limbe, a tourist attraction just, a few kilometers from where there's been a lot of incidents. Take, for example, Boya, Tiko, Limbe, these and Muya, these are surrounding cities. And these players of Group D, of course, they are Tanzania, Namibia, Zambia, and Guinea. They are right there in Limbe and Boya. And what happens? There's been gunshot. A lot of things have been happening, and it's so important, it's so crucial, and we ask the world, why is it that they are totally silent? Why we have these things happening in Africa? And football is supposed to be a sport of love, a sport, where it galvanizes people and brings peace. But you cannot bring peace without justice. And we think that the international community must remain focused on trying to resolve this issue that is going on in Cameroon. The United Nations, the US, and other foreign partners to Cameroon, and people who understand, who witness the solemn independence of the people of the two English-speaking regions, have repeatedly called for dialogue, called for dialogue without precondition. But what happens? Let me be clear to all of you who are watching. It is our right as a media organ to give suggestions, to make forecasts on exactly what's going to be going on. We know for sure, it is a fact, Cameroon will never win the war with bullets. They must come to the table. But the point is, why are the officials, why are Cameroonian officials so wicked? So much so that they wouldn't come to negotiate now. They will wait until we've counted numerous deaths. A lot of people dying every day before they come out to negotiate. It's always the case. Look at Papua New Guinea and Bagosby. That's always happened like that. So this platform is using its voice with all of you who are watching, those of you watching from Spain, watching from just anywhere. You have to continuously remain very focused on trying to publicize the issue, because we think that human beings are dying and a media organ should not be indifferent, should talk about it to the world. Just for the records, Cameroonian authorities, some of them are benefiting very, very much from the revolution, from the crisis, from the armed conflict. Everybody knows that. They have mission orders each time they go through these trouble regions. They always go there. You have the Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Atanganji. You've seen him go to Kumba, go to Boya many times, Bamenda. You also have other ministers that have been going to these trouble regions. When they go there, they have prizes, they have gifts, they have money, they have fuel, they have everything. And this is how they feed fat from the crisis. And they think that they can never give an advice for their president, for Probia, to resolve the issue amicably, sit on the table, discuss with the separatists, and have a way out of the armed conflict. Peace is good. Everybody loves peace. But then peace must be guided by justice. And I think that from what we have seen, what we've reported, this is exactly what these people of these two regions are asking for. All media organs across the world, from CNN, BBC, everybody, they should be focusing on this particular issue. It's a pandemic. It's so bad. It's worse than COVID, I must say. And to think that the Cameroonian authorities still believe that only the guns will win this war, whereas the United Nations has said, silence the gun. It is important that this media organ should categorically classify the regime of Pobia as the worst regime in the world that has killed as many people as you cannot count, as much as babies, mothers, breastfeeding mothers, elderly persons, handicapped, and you can name the rest. And it's a huge, huge call for concern. And the National Telegraph, we think it's absolutely important for people to begin to re-strategize and move on. Now, I have a video that I'm going to play here. This video is so important. Why Cameroonian authorities are ensuring that they feed fat from the armed conflict. The rebels themselves are the biggest thieves of their people. Let me be clear. There is one thing nobody can silence, and that thing is the truth. I will play a video from one of the so-called separatists. You will see it, you will listen. I'm going to play it in just not too long from now. And we are going to say it repeatedly on this platform that the Cameroon regime is corrupt. The Cameroon regime is rotten. It's a bad regime. It's a regime that has no principle. They have zero when it comes to principles. They don't understand that they have to respect human rights. Cameroon does not understand the definition of human rights. They don't understand that you cannot be corrupt. If you were to ask us, Cameroon remains one of the most corrupt countries in the world. But then, I think by our personal assessment, the rebels themselves have taken the lead. And I will show you pictures and videos. The aspect of denouncing corruption within a movement is the battle for the soul and survival of that movement. You can write that down. And let's see where you're watching from. Listen attentively. The courage to condemn corruption, embezzlement, thievery, manipulation, propaganda, unnecessary propaganda within a movement, it is the battle for the soul of that movement. Cameroon is already corrupt. So those who are demanding independence from Cameroon must actually, make sure that they see futures of people with moral uprightness. But this is not the case with the Ambazonian revolution. Let me just make a comment, because while I'm talking, I'm also reading at some comments. I still want to remind people who think that the National Telegraph page is irritator. Let them try their luck. You know, what some of them do is that they report your page for no reason, out of jealousy, because they think that you should be taken down. But I have a message for them. This page will never be taken down, because we are never ever going to go against Facebook community rules. We've read them, we've upgraded. You know, some people think that this journalist is supposed to be radical on this page so that it should be taken down. In which case, when he remains professional, they make other comments and they try to force him to change topics. No, we are going to stay on course. Professionalism is what has given National Telegraph since 2013, and we want to reassure enemies of National Telegraph that this page is going to be their longest wait on social media. They are going to wait for a lifetime. It's never ever going to go down. With that said, let us stay back on track. And we seize this opportunity once more to thank all those who have been fans on this page. We continuously thank you. You remain so valuable. And that's why we ask you every time you come online to make sure that you share. That is your responsibility. If you're following, you're supposed to share, you're supposed to like, and you're supposed to comment. Let's know where you're watching from. Those watching from Uganda, we say hello to you. Rwanda, Gabon, Chad, Equatorial Guinea, Cameroon, the USA. Those who are watching from the UK, Sweden, Finland. If you're watching from Panama, Venezuela, Russia, anywhere you're watching from, we salute you. And we think that all supporters of National Telegraph, once you share, go back and also click on like. It's very important. Okay? Those are some of the things that are going to be shaming some of the enemies on this platform. We will not compromise, we will not mince our words with those who consider us enemies. We'll continuously remind them. It is very important. It's very important. It is the sword that we put on their injuries when we remind them of how much we are going to succeed, and how long we are going to stay vibrant and recalibrated. They don't like to hear those things. The devil is so afraid of a confident person. And for the devil to kill your confidence, they will now invoke words like he's proud. No. Being confident and fearless, being consistent and objective is not pride. But the devil is quick to see it that way. Not because they don't know that you are not proud, but because they are using it as an instrument to weaken your morale. But then this gentleman, this journalist, understands that. And that is why all enemies on this page, they are severely flogged by our words. We ensure that we put them on the stage, we talk to them, and they get so disappointed because each time they want to divert our focus, we use it for a lesson and a food for thought. We will now go back to the crux of the matter. I was talking about corruption within the Ambazonian revolution. It's very important. And I'll play this video before I continue. We don't intend to stay too long on this show, so I'm going to play this video. Once you join, please, as I explained to you, make sure that you share extensively. It is your responsibility. And then let's hashtag where you're watching from, all right? And just so that you know, you can also hashtag NT, that's National Telegraph. 1,000 of you watching unannounced, that's great. Excellent, and we are grateful. Now, I want to bring this video from Joshua Carr, who is a Sako. You know, Sako owns the splinter group, the propagandist group of, he calls his fraction, whatever he calls it. We are not going to acknowledge it on this platform. We are against TIFU, we are against corruption, and we have systematically and objectively identified Sako as a corrupt person. I will start by mentioning one very important thing. Some people who are his surrogates, I'm going to play a video from one of his fanatic, and he's talking about corruption within their camp. And he says that it is piled up, that they are too corrupt. He said it just a few days back. Listen very attentively why this video ignites a new spirit of patriotism in people who fight against corruption, including these journalists. The truth is one thing you're never ever going to fight against, because it will keep coming, and liars will make sure they come to hit you on the face if you are not truthful. The only reason why this platform survives is because we have continuously, consistently reminded those who count themselves amongst our enemies that we have the capacity to flatten them when it comes to social media and the truth. Now, I want to take the first thing. Like somebody has asked on the comments, on the comment section, Sako again, yes. You have to know one thing, that once you claim to hold an office of responsibility, especially when you steal from the masses, they don't talk about you because you are important. No. They talk about you because what you are doing to society is harming, is damaging. That is why we talk about it. The event can never be separated from the event maker. Those who play football, you can never report on the African Nations Championship without mentioning Cameroon as a host country. That report will be incomplete. Cameroon represents a person, a moral person in law. You will never talk of Group D without talking about Tanzania. So what is the event? The event is the African Nations Championship. But the event cannot be reported without the event makers. Who are the event makers? The teams and the players that are playing. That is why we will not, and we will never talk about corruption, thievery, embezzlement within the ranks of the rebels without mentioning Sako. As you are all aware, Samuel Komisako, who by the way is jobless here in the United States. You can quote me, take this video anywhere, it's on our page. Officially, I talk here in my capacity as a journalist and professionally too. You watch other media organs, this is how they analyze things. So when I say somebody is jobless, joblessness is an adjective, or jobless an adjective used to describe somebody who is not working, who has not got a job. And by our findings, Sako is not, and we'll keep on reiterating this fact. The first thing is that Sako Ikome, for those of you who are watching, Sako Ikome collected money, brought an initiative, My Trip to Boya, MTTB, and that money disappeared. I'm going to come to it. Now, they brought a new initiative called Draft. And supposedly, he was supposed to use the draft money to do things within FACO. Remember that one of his videos, he said he's taking over FACO because he wants to shut down the African Nations Championship. Okay, he's not done none of those. Let me explain. Samuel Sako remains the most crooked human being existing within the confines of the Amazonian Revolution. And I'll explain to you why. I will explain using this theory. The commander-in-chief and the control room. That's a theory. I want you to understand what it means. To tell you, the first thing is that Sako plays on psychology. He waits for others who are doing things, and then once it's reported, Sako now takes it and runs propaganda, because he has dedicated people on WhatsApp and social media, on WhatsApp and Facebook, who share his propaganda stuff. Let me tell you one thing about the commander-in-chief and the control room. The commander-in-chief means the person who is in charge. You're in charge of whatever. The control room, that's where you monitor the things that you've offered your blessing, and you can be the first to report on those issues. But have you people noticed that since a lot of the things happen, from Boya to Munya to Tiko to Limbe, all those who support Sako, they have reported these issues 5, 10, 6 or more hours after any other person. Okay, this is the reason. For example, 99% of the things that have been happening, they've been reported first by National Telegraph, which of course I'm proud to be its CEO. Each time it's reported by National Telegraph, it takes the Sako surrogates up to 5 hours or more to report that, and they now pick it from National Telegraph with the facts, the details, and they now try to do propaganda that it is their achievement. Well, we're not going to talk anything about Telegraph is here to report news, but I'm analyzing what you're trying to understand, and I hope you get it very clearly. So it's simple to know that this man lies. If you are the commander-in-chief, you are in the control room. If something is happening in Limbe or Chiku, it means you know that this thing is happening here. And your surrogates will be the first to report. People should report many hours after your surrogates, not the other way around. The only reason why they don't have this information is because Sako is not the one controlling. It's very simple. You must know this. These are facts. And this again extends to his well-crafted technique of thievery that must be condemned by this platform. As you all know, we remain consistent on the fact that we will not condole with thieves and armed robbers. You know, when you steal from people, you dupe them, you do propaganda while others do a job, it remains very concerning. And this platform will never stop talking about it. Let me be clear. Let me be absolutely clear. The level of thievery within the Sako camp is baptized by Sako himself. We have information from some areas where donations have been made. Sako has come there severally, asked for donations to be sent to him. He calls himself, he says, send a portion to the federal government. And some of the people are getting smart and smarter by the day. They said, no, we cannot send nothing to the federal government. Ask the question, what government has Sako? Where is his office? What is it doing? What space is it buying on CNN, BBC, Al Jazeera? What are they doing? As you are all aware, all other cronies fighting for the Ambazonian revolution, the armed conflict in Cameroon, they run multimedia platforms where they help to give information and they act as references to international partners. For example, Cameroon has CRTV. That is their own machinery. They have a website, they have a TV, they come and say things, and you can read news and quote as reference. But go to Sako, there is never a day that any international partner in looking or eyeing Cameroon's armed conflict can go to the Sako camp. None of their activists run even a simple, proper website where they can reference, where somebody can reference as a site where you can get information. Yet these are people who claim they are taking money to fight against the government of Cameroon. You want to get my assessment? The government of Cameroon is 2 billion times better than these crooked guys. That is the truth. You can be angry because you support them, but the truth is always the truth. Thieves and crooks cannot lead people out of thievery and crookery. Take it very, very seriously. It's so important. It is the soul for the survivor of moral rectitude. Whether you're an Ambazonian, a Cameroonian, or whosoever, this is so important, not only to Africans, but to the world. Thieves cannot lead people from the hands of thieves. It is practically impossible. Practically impossible. So it is an impossibility. And let me once more remain even clearer on this aspect. All of you are aware, including those who support this gang of thieves, that this platform reports only authentic things, and our analysis are consistent with the facts and the reality on the ground. I will now, before I continue, let you understand one thing. I've already told you the principle of the commander-in-chief and the control room. Let me relate you to the United States. When Barack Obama was president, and even Donald Trump, they oversaw the killings of Saddam Hussein, Bin Laden, and others. Now, who is the person who announces? The first person who gives the information out to the press is the White House, because Barack Obama sits in the control room as the commander-in-chief, and when he orders a strike, he comes and announces it. He knows with exactitude what has happened. But this is not the case with Sako. Sako does not even know whether it is African Nations Championship or it is African Cup of Nations. All of them within the Sako camp, they don't know the difference. And that is annoying to see how much they try to steal from you people. Just a minute. So it is very important for facts to be consistent. So that is how the steal continues. You see, the thievery is something that must be condemned. You must remain consistent when it comes to the facts. And I'm going to play this video. For as many as more than 10 months, this platform talked of the high embezzlement that is within the Sako camp. Okay, today this is a young man, probably he's completely misguided, out of the rail. He's talking something very important that I want you to take a listen. All of you. It's a brief video for about 4 minutes. You listen to it right now, and then I'll come back to analyzing it. I'll play it from the phone. Listen. Make sure you share once you join, and you hashtag where you're watching from. Okay, that is Joshua Carr. He says the interim government led by Sako, that they are thieves. He's the one saying it. And he's right for the first time. He's very correct. He says they are thieves. And that is the adjective. You cannot insult him for saying that. Because what he's saying is a fact. That they are thieves that are tormenting the people, stealing money, collecting money and doing nothing. That's Joshua Carr. This is Sako's dog. Is Sako's puppet. You know what I mean? So I want you to listen very attentively to what he's saying. And he's threatening them. It's important. You know, the truth is very tough. You can't hide it. All right, now we'll listen more. Okay, now listen. Institutions are not people. A country is its citizens and its institutions, not because of the leaders. Take for example what has happened in the United States. President of the United States, Donald Trump, has been impeached for the second time because the US Capitol was violated. It was desecrated, and that warranted actions. When he says, to some of you, you think that a thief and an armed robber like Sako is something that those of you who are fanatic, you have lost your minds. And he's saying it here. The concept has been destroyed. And independence seems to be in peril for those of you who are supporting Sako. To be honest, we have said on this platform many times that thieves cannot lead. And he's beginning to see it. And he says further that, he says in Pidgin, which I will interpret in English, that if you like, when I make that call, me not watch Joshua Carr. So he says that he's telling you that that is how they function. He was there before. When you are speaking the truth and condemning the thievery, they make calls and they try to sabotage for people not to watch you. The only person they didn't succeed in doing that is Eric Tato and National Telegraph. That is why you see Sako made a speech on the 31st of December. Till date, that speech is still 29,000 people. Yerima made his own on the 30th, on the 3rd of January. It's gone 30,000 plus above Sako's own. We've made shows here on National Telegraph just for a few days. There are 20,000 plus minus the YouTube counts. You know, people don't watch Sako. He just have fake profiles that go there to share, and they create this propaganda to make him look like he has following. Because they are experts in making audios, videos. That's all he does. All the money that you contribute, he uses it to pay for propaganda. He's worse than Paul Atanganji and Paul Biya put together. He has a playbook of a monster, of a thief, of a crooked man. And don't think that we're not going to talk about it. It's the soul of moral rectitude. An armed robber, a jobless man, should never be leading anybody. So let us be clear on this fact. All of them are coming back. They say, is it the chickens are coming to home to roast or something? All of them are coming back. That is Joshua Carr saying that there are thieves within the interim government. Of course, their own. As you are all aware, they are not recognized anywhere. With millions that people have contributed, they have secured zero diplomacy, zero communication achievement. They don't even have, the last time they put a studio on their Facebook page, it was a studio, it was somebody's studio that they went and edited stuff and they took pictures for propaganda. Have you asked yourselves where the studio is located, the address? Everybody has an office in America, has an address. Oh, don't tell nobody that in America you're not going to give your address because you're afraid that the Cameroon government will come and look for you. No, there's so much security in America. Everybody's got an address. So it is so crucial that people like this are beginning to speak up. Thieves cannot be tolerated within a revolution. I will say it 2 billion times. And there's nothing you can do. You're all going to watch, you grumble, you make those comments. Comments that I can delete or I can block you if I care. But I don't, because you're supposed to stay here to get the truth. Like I've said, bandits don't lead people. It's so important. It's so important. And for generations, all Ambazonians will come to remember this platform for bringing sanity and making truth so much of a concern. I'm not a saint myself, but I'm not as mean as these guys are. There's somebody who has defended Sako and Co. For the longest time. Today he says they are thieves. You know why? Because they are beginning to attack him. When this platform divulged with these gangsters, they came after it. Make sure they read, they don't share from it. That's why I tell you that those of you who support this platform, you cannot give us anything. We're not going to come and ask you for money. Just share, like, comment. That is all. When there is a post on this platform, you have to come and comment and like and share. That's your work. Soon we are going to Dimples, our own platform. We're working on it. So this guy says they are thieves within the Sako government, and Sako himself is the biggest thief. Listen to it once more. I'll play it for a little longer. Listen. Listen. He said thieves like 5 times, I think.
I live. in the whole world because an African man, the only thing that money, 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 money. And before you get money, if you don't take time, you destroy your loyalty, you destroy your respect. But if you keep your dignity and you get money, that money is worth everything. That's where Africans fail. That's where we fail. So that was the one great thing I don't let you. Now, most of you now be there. You now be hear me that time and shout, call people, say people don't do good things. But some of you that have my brothers from the grassland, I tell you now, you now be very big hypocrites. Very big hypocrites. When I go come for under my post, when I make post, you can shout, oh, Prince J, you can be a look, I follow up the thing, I show some my comrade laugh. It's a Prince J car. Some of our brothers from the grassland, when I never change what I said before Amazonia 3, I'm telling you the truth. When I go come for under my post, President Sako has done this, President Sako has done this. But the same people, I just do some studies. I think 2 days ago, some my separate comrade. We say more carry out studies for see how Amazonia did act amongst we. You see people, they will come for my post there. People where I know them. No, President has taken over Fako. President has taken over Fako. President, what Tanya Galaba, things that have to stop Nation Cup have already been in place. Things the way they get to stop Nation Cup, no be today. Man, tell you, it's not today.
So basically, in the talk say they don't already arrange waiting to stop Nations Cup. So listen very attentively. So it means it's Sako the lie. That's what he's saying here. I'm going to translate that in English. So he's calling it Nations Cup. First of all, it's not a Nations Cup. That's why, these guys are not red. That's the first thing. But this video is so important. And he's beginning to reveal the many things that this platform has been saying for the longest time. And he's aware of what is going to befall him. Because that's how Sako operates. Each time Sako sees that you have scales off your eyes, he now gangs up with social media spokes to start attacking you, labeling you names, trying to discredit you and call people not to watch you. I think probably this platform is the only platform that has consistently defeated that Sako's kind of arrangement. So this young man says it clearly that these guys are thieves. There's even somewhere he says Fombat, who used to work with him, stole money. For those of you who don't know, Fombat is the guy who had an umbrella. He was covering Sako once in the UK when they went there for a conference. And he's saying that, let me explain to you what this young man is saying. That Sako claims to have taken over Fako. But he's informing you that what is going to be happening now, according to him, though they have not done nothing, is what they long put in place. Which means that all the money that Sako is taking, and which is the truth, we've just analyzed to you the commander-in-chief and the control room. So anything that Sako takes, because he says, Sako just used the opportunity to say, I'm taking over Fako. No president takes over a state. You only send reinforcement and you monitor. You're taking over Fako because he wants that since people are desperate to stop the African Nations Championship, what's going to happen is that since he has declared, fetishly though, that he's taking over Fako, the money that they've raised for the so-called draft for Fako County is going to be transferred to him now. Then what is he going to do? He uses it for whatever he wants. Because obviously other people are doing things. That is why he has no information of anything that happened. Take for example, there was an attack in Babaju in the West region. Sako removed a communique that he took the credit that it happened in Santa. You cannot carry out something and then you don't know the point of the action. That is the first free. So it is consistent with what we have said here, that it is so terrible that this man behaves in this manner. What do you gain if you steal from your people? That's what this platform is asking. It's so important for people to know now and continuously know that we stand with truth-loving people, because that is the role of this platform. Some people think that because you report news, you can't do analysis like this. No. I'll always remind people so that you don't bother yourself making comments that are not necessary. Look at GPS, Don Lemon Stick, Cuomo 360, Sean Hamilton, and so on and so forth. They analyze things, they describe people the way they want to describe them. You watch television stations in the US, in Germany, and elsewhere, you see how critical journalists are. This is called journalism. And we've used this video to analyze. So this man is indirectly telling you how Sako is so bad a thief. I'm not the one who said it. He said they are thieves, 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 thieves. He said it many times. And he's aware of the consequences. They will start haunting him as I speak. They will make sure, they will say don't watch him. They will say he's taking money from the Konengi IG like Chris Ann, who by the way is the most corrupt and overzealous human being within the revolution of the Ambazonia movement. You cannot be fighting to liberate yourselves from the hands of a dictator and from the hands of a corrupt regime, a regime that stole your future, killed your children, stole your careers, took away your jobs, took away your schools, took away your magistrate, took away your courts, took away your hospital facilities. Are you people aware that all the dialysis machines that they brought from Yaoundé, the new ones, none is working? Call and ask. I'm telling you with facts. The machines are not working. Tomorrow you will start getting the information, but we're giving you first-hand information. So you cannot be fighting against the kind of regime and you're supporting, you even dare to support a man who is not working, a man who is manipulative. Because Sako already studied you people. He has done the studies so well. And he knows that you guys are gullible, you are desperate. And above all, some of you have just literature intelligence, means reading books, but you don't have common sense, which is the most crucial thing in a human being. He knows it very well, that you guys are like laggers, you are like dollars. And he uses it because he's a con man, like you are aware. And he makes sure that he deals with you guys squarely, takes all your money. It is important. We will never ask you to stop giving your money to him. But we'll always remind you that he's chopping your money. Put chopping in quotes. It's very necessary for us to do this. You have the choice. You can do it by your own volition. But we also have the latitude, the franchise to talk about these issues. And there's no way anybody's going to stop it. We are responsible, directly responsible for pulling out scales from people's eyes. Those who want to remain in darkness, they have the visa to do that. But we will not stop preaching. The fact that people continuously fornicate will not stop a priest from preaching that fornication is wrong. Church services on Sunday will not be stopped because the preacher has been preaching one and the same thing every time. The kingdom of God is at hand. It is the most consistent preaching that all preachers preach across the world. So don't tell me that everyday Sako. Have you ever asked a pastor why they are preaching to you every day about the kingdom of God? The truth is always the truth. And it reduces you when you ask questions that make you stupid. You can't ask a journalist why every day this. For 4 years they've talked about Trump and they will still talk about him because Trump is making news and is causing a situation or situations. Sako is in the news negatively though. It doesn't make him powerful. And we'll keep talking about it. Because a resistance is built and financed from the courage of patriots and journalists who are ready to put the truth out there to a people. A movement of truth, moral rectitude, and the craving for dignity and integrity is built on these principles that I preach to you today on this platform. Let us be clear. We will never back down speaking the truth and exposing the thievery that this man has brought in the armed conflict. As you are all aware, he is amongst those that has galvanized the lowest crowd ever. Even his own live shows are not watched by his people. He gets fake profiles to share, and each time he hits 1K, they think that they are being watched. But you go back, the majority of the views are going to Daphne Yerima, That, by the way, is recognized worldwide as the vice president of the Amazonian Revolution, including this platform, except for platforms that have been compromised. Sakona works with French activists, a desperado who at once found himself somewhere in Ouagadougou. And then he's doing all the conspiracies for Sako. Listen, let me be clear. We will never, ever relent exposing this armed robber. It's a crime syndicate and must be discussed because the people who are trying to liberate themselves are trying to get away from these attitudes. The very kinds that Sako is perpetrating, and we will not stay mute. He has paid surrogates on social media to silence voices of people just like Paul Biya does. Everybody must learn to finance the truth. You finance the truth with your voice. It's so crucial. This young man has done his part. You can insult him that he's dishonest, but trust me, he has tried. To talk like this against Sako, who pays people to sabotage you, is a brave thing. It takes courage. There are many people who have gone mute, just like others in Cameroon, that the Cameroon government muted them. Sako has done the same. You know people who have the enthusiasm, but sometimes they just draw a little bit back. Honorable Wiba is an example. So the technicalities of Sako thievery are always exposed on this platform and without fear or favor. I still want to remind you, for those of you who are going behind Sako, it will take you 2 billion years to near anything independence. The other groups can achieve independence within a certain time, but you people will not achieve independence in a lifetime because there are two categories of independence. First of all, you need the mental freedom. That's the first important independence that you people will never get because your mentalities are wrapped and like cooked like some pork. It's very important for you to know. So you must all remain focused on the issues that you're fighting for, the principles. Not supporting and encouraging the same thing this young man tried. Joshua Kai tried. You could not reduce his number of teeth. Maybe you want to bring down his number of teeth from 900 to 700 because he has tried. Some teeth fell off. So these are things that are crucial for the survival of the truth. So one time everybody's watching from Montreal, a young's watching from Montreal, Canada. Let's also know where you're watching from, okay? Hashtag where you're watching from. And don't forget to hashtag NT. It's so important. And you have to share. By the time we leave this show, go and check it. If you have not liked it, you make sure it's liked by you. Like it. You know, comment. Share it extensively. It's very important. All right? We see somebody's watching from Mato. Great. Ohio. Very great. Where else are we watching from? Can we hashtag NT? As many times as you can, you know. So, it's so important. It's so important. Very, very important. When a man speaks good like this, reduce some of the bad things you gave him. Remove his teeth from 900 to 700. If he speaks another one, you bring it down until it comes to 32. So, it is important. Journalists will say this. There's no fear of ever. You see, Don Lemon, they exchange social media jabs with other networks. When Fox News says something that is okay, CNN has to come and reply. That is journalism. And to think that some people of the Sako camp, and you know there's nobody within the Sako camp that studied journalism. None of them. Even the guy from Burkina, the guy in Ouagadougou, the Michel guy, didn't go to no journalism school. Chris Anu dropped out from journalism school. We are not saying that you cannot be a good writer or a good reporter if you didn't go to journalism school. To me, I think that the definition of a journalist should be redefined. A journalist should be like, the term should be stricto sensus to like the medical terms, like medical doctor. You cannot call a mechanic a medical doctor. Because these days, anybody gets up, they have Facebook page with 5 followers, they say they are journalists, they are reporters. No, please, stay out of it. Not everybody must be something. It's very important. So you see the Sako people, you see how bad they write? So terrible. Thank you, those of you watching from Belgium. So this is important. You cannot be a man, you call yourself you are leading, and you are so crooked. Even your own former supporter is talking now, and people have reduced his number of teeth from 900 to 700. If he continues this way, at the end of the year, he might go down to 32 teeth. So these are very important things. This young man is beginning to understand exactly what we're saying. You see, the Sako surrogates, some of them, they hate me. Some are indifferent, like, okay, why is he always talking about Sako? But the truth is that we are the most loved on this platform. And we thank all of you who are here. You hashtag NT as many times as you can. If you have not shared, go there and share, like it. It's important. Because this is the battle for the soul of this aspect of the truth that you are fighting for. And we can say it on this platform. So it's very important. And thank all of you who are watching from Cyprus, Greece, Ohio once more in the USA. Somebody's watching from, I didn't see that. I have a little reflection on my screen, so I don't see some of the towns and cities and countries very well. So you have to keep fighting. And the Sako people, they have a style of coming with negative comments under your post. You can just delete them. Let me tell you something. The number of comments on a post, as on a platform as huge as Telegraph, doesn't reflect how many people come there. They come there in thousands. We see them. I don't see you physically. I cannot read your name, but I see a bar. Facebook will show me 10,000 people have come to this post in 1 hour. 100,000 people. Like we have a post that we had like 1 million plus in 3 days. So it's always like that. And that's why we invoke you people, you, those of you who are supporters of National Telegraph, to always be here to share. You don't need to browse through your Facebook page to see National Telegraph before you share. Just go and type National Telegraph on your search bar, because sometimes you miss events. You can read from our page like how you go on the website. That's why once we create Dimples, we finish with it, we run it off. All of you who are watching me here, you have to be there, because all my news, all the Telegram news will be on Dimples for many hours before they will come to any other platform. Now we're just trying to incorporate video so that we can record videos and put there. We need all of you. So that is where we're going to exact the strategy of informing you people. So we thank everybody who's been here. We didn't intend to make this show very long. If you have not shared, you'll come back to share. And one will end this show by thanking the CEO of Fantech, Dr. Ngufo Fantech, that we've explained to you. They're one of our partners. Their classes are starting today, but we'll be talking to them. We'll be talking about them all through in the next month, because they are taking new badges as soon as they get done with this one. So if you want to do cyber security, I think Fantech is your best bet. And don't forget, before I go tomorrow at 1 p.m., we are going to have Ambassador Arikana Chumbo-Wikwa. She's probably going to be on this platform, or will share a Zoom link where you will join in a meeting, very important meeting for African diaspora. So she's going to be chairing that meeting, in which we're going to be talking some very important issues. So that's Ambassador Arikana is a former African Union ambassador to the United States. So it's very important that I make this announcement. While I'm trying to pull out the flyer for Fantech, I'll talk about Fantech right now. I hope I get this flyer really very quickly. Okay, so like you're all aware, Fantech, I got it right here. Fantech teaches, they said they teach cyber security with focus on risk management framework. So their classes are starting today, and they do that after your course, you can work as a cyber security analyst, information assurance specialist, information security assessors, audit and compliance, etc. And all of this is in 10 weeks. You can call the school or the management on +1 240 547 8775. +1 240 547 8775. So call them, or you can write on the email fantech3791@gmail.com. Fantech is like fan, like you as a fan, then tech. That ends with H, so it's FANTECH 3791@gmail.com. So you can also call them, like I said, on both WhatsApp and direct calls from any part of the world. You can study this, whether you have a phone, laptop, or whatsoever, just get to them. They'll tell you what to do. They have tools that will help you to log into the class. So you study from any part that you're watching. You can call them today on +1 240 547 8775. Don't forget to put the +1 because that's a US code. And call them today on WhatsApp or direct calls, and they'll be right with you to have you be in this class. Call them now, register, and make a payment plan. We'll also talk about Verbatim LLC tomorrow. Don't go away. Keep following National Telegraph. Make sure you check us from time to time. If you are watching this show and you have not subscribed on this page, click on the subscription. Just go follow us. Click on follow. Follow us, like the page, and make sure that you always share everything that comes from here. God bless you. I want to thank you all, okay? Thank you all for watching. Great show today, and we can't be grateful, you know. So meanwhile, we're going to ask you to keep putting hashtag NT. Let's play this good music while you hashtag NT for as many times as you can, and you hashtag where you're watching from is important. We want to get familiar with you, and we'll take this last 3 minutes while you're doing your hashtag. We'll answer some few questions, like from 5 persons. So let's see what questions you have, and then we'll take it from there. All right, send your question. You can type, and then I'll have to answer that. I think yes, thank you. So let me see your question, okay? So if I get your question, I'll answer you very quickly. So your question, please. So hashtag NT, and then you ask any question. I'll just pick my device up. I'll read from there, and then I'll have to answer you. All right? So yeah. So let's get you all your question. What's your question? Thank you. Let's get your question. It's very important. Right away. All right? Okay. So what's the question? I'll look at your question here. Why you hashtag NT? So make sure you hashtag that. Let's see what your questions are. I'll take your questions now. Yeah. All right. So I'll be reading here once I see your comments. Okay, so what are your comments? Okay, I'm trying to look at anybody who's going to ask something here. I'm reading, trying to read from you as well.
If you know say you be proud of your beginning, make it shine light. Just follow me, follow me, shine light.
All right, so okay, let's see. If you don't have any questions, we'll be lining up in the as soon as this video gets over. Don't forget to share. If you have not shared, make sure you share. All right, so make sure you share extensively while we're looking at your questions. I can't see none. Somebody asking my personal platform, none yet. We're working on something. Thank you. All right. I'll only answer questions that are particularly professional, not something that is centered on my personal opinion on the running of anything Ambazonia. So you ask me questions related to what I've spoken, and some other things that you think you want to get information, I can reply on that. All right. Alright, so we should be ending this. So I want to thank everybody who is joining, all of you who have joined. Alright, thank you so much. So we don't have your questions. We should okay. Thank you, Greece, watching from Greece. Thank you so much. Who else is watching from Greece? Okay, that'll be it. I will thank you all for participating very hugely on this show. We say God bless you. It's been wonderful. All right. So we'll end here for today. All right. Thank you so much. All right. I want to say hello to you who's watching from Sacramento in California. I'm watching from Germany. Let's see where you're watching. All right, thank you, Prime, watching from Morocco. All right, that's very great. Hello to everybody from Morocco. Everybody's watching from Morocco. A big hello to you, okay? All right, guys, and those of you from Germany, a big hello to all of you. All right, thank you so much. And let's look at who else is watching from somewhere. See Morocco. Who's watching from UAE? Can you indicate? Oh, from Manfe, okay, from Manu Division. Alright, that's great. Alright, somebody says you work on our personal platform at SAP. Of course, it's going to be out soon. Alright, thank you so much. Alright, I want to say hello to everybody who is watching from Solan. And to say God bless you all. It's been a fantastic. Oh, thank you, Jasper from UAE. So we'll end the show here. Thank you so much, Lele, watching from UAE. Oh, of course, we have Ayoke Chu, aka King Echu, watching from Baltimore. I want to say hello to you watching from Dubai, UAE, Gaba Jasper. Okay, thank you so much. And we're so grateful. Those of you watching from Belgium, Belgius, and all of you from Belgium. A big hello. Okay, Paul from Dubai, UAE, Tabi, Eric, Century. Everybody from the UAE, okay? UAE seems to be those who are watching the most, okay? Okay, we have how many UAE? We're not seeing nobody from the USA. Okay, we have USA, Baltimore, Canada. Oh, very great. Canada is in the house. Who else? We have somebody from Casablanca, Morocco. That's very good. Baltimore, Maryland, USA. Very great. I want to say hello to all of you who are joining the show at this time, okay? Somebody's watching from Switzerland. That was a good one. Switzerland, great. Somebody's watching from Ground Zero. That's great, okay? Thank you so much. Somebody's watching from DC, the capital of the United States. Security quite tight there ahead of Biden's inauguration. And for those of you who are following, I'm sure you're following the US politics so closely, so great. All right, so without another thing, we're going to go. Somebody says, what? No, we can't even read that. We don't know what that means. Okay, so we will be gone right now. Thank you so much, all of you who have watched from different parts of the world. And like we always say, the spirit is high. Thank you for trusting National Telegraph. If you are joining now and you have not watched this show, you've missed a lot. You need to go get this show from the beginning. Don't always forget to share, like, and thank you. Have a bye-bye. God bless you. Thank you so much, okay? Thank you so much, those of you watching from Bahrain. All right, thank you. Bye-bye.